yes and no. What I mean by that is, very often, if you dream about uh, a house, for instance, it doesn't really, it may represent your house, but very often it could be representing your uh, state of mind. If you dream about being in the attic, it's your higher self, your spiritual self. If it's your living room, it's your conscious everyday self. If it's your basement, it's your hidden thoughts. Those are kind of general, but again, dreams are individual, and what's general for somebody might not be general for somebody else. There are other symbols that, like a car is a very common symbol. And generally, like if you're driving the car, you're in control. If you're in the back seat, you're out of control, and then letting other people, run your life.
And what about people who don't remember their dreams, or what about lucid dreaming? Do you work with people on lucid dreaming?
Uh, Usually when people come to me, it's because they do have dreams, and mostly it's like I've had this. Usually they're nightmares. I've had this horrible dream. It's like, help me figure it out. So most of the time when I'm working with people, it's through people who do remember their dreams. However, uh, if you don't remember their dream, if you don't remember your dreams, I have lots of advice on how to do that too, because I'm so passionate about how important dreams are to really getting that greater self-awareness and self-understanding.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that might be good. Maybe a quick spot here that might be helpful.
Sure, and this is the very very quick method. If you want to know more, you can go to my website, thedreamcoach.net. I have a little infographic on how to remember your dreams that goes into a little bit further. But basically, my steps are: first of all, believe the dreams are important. Because what you're doing is you're training your brain to remember your dreams. So if your brains have been going along all this time not thinking the dreams are important, it's that much harder to remember them. So really, spend some time, do a little bit of meditation, get into that spot where you can say, yes, I believe dreams are important.
Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Define Your Purpose. And joining me today from New York City is Debbie Spector Weisman, and she's a dream life coach, author, podcaster, and TV host. So thanks so much for joining me today, Debbie.
It's my pleasure, Karl.
So I'm really fascinated in what you're doing with your coaching and everything. Maybe you could talk a little bit about how you got into it, get started with everything you're doing.
Well, I would say it all started with a dream. And I'm not talking about, the "Oh, I wish this would happen" kind of dream. I'm talking about actual real nighttime dream. And so let me backtrack a little bit. I came into dreaming kind of late in life. It was a result of a search for, the answer to the question, "Who am I?" That kind of began, as I was, approaching 50, called the mid life crisis or whatever you want to call it. It wasn't that bad. Life was bad. Life was actually fine. I was married, still married, had 2 kids, a house, dog, a job, all that good stuff. But I felt that there was something missing, but I couldn't identify what that was. Uh, so it led me on a search, and the search ended up with learning more about dream work. I met a woman who is a master at dream work and started having dream circles with her, which is where you gather in a circle and talk about your dreams. It got me interested in remembering my dreams, so I started remembering my dreams more and got interested in taking her course in how to be a coach. Not so much because I wanted to be a coach, but because I wanted to learn more about dreams and why we dream, what their purpose is, and what we can do with them. And while I was in the process of taking this course, I had what I like to call the dream that saved my life. And the interesting thing about this dream is that it wasn't a big, long, drawn out thing. It was one word. The word was so unusual. I said I had to pay attention to it. And that word was codpiece. Now, I don't know about you, but at the time I didn't know what a codpiece was. I had to look it up. Uh, and for those who don't know, a codpiece was a garment that men wore in the Middle Ages to protect their genitals, either made of leather or metal or something hard. And then in the '80s, a lot of heavy metal rockers like Ozzy Osbourne would wear codpieces as their part of their costume. If you go back and look at the videos, you'll see this big thing in front of them. Like, that's a codpiece. Anyway, um, so I had to figure out how to just why was I having a dream about a codpiece? And I'm not going to go into the whole my whole process right now, but the end result was that I realized that at the time I was, and actually for most of my life, I was very quiet and very shy, and I didn't speak up when, unless, people asked me to. And I really kept to myself a lot. And I realized I was hiding behind the codpiece because, a codpiece is something precious that, was protecting men. Well, the codpiece was something precious that, it was protecting me. I was the precious thing it was protecting. But I felt that, if I didn't want to live that way, and I realized I didn't want to live that way anymore, I had to break out of the codpiece. And that was just this like monumental aha moment for me that, I could do this. I didn't have to live like this, and I was in control and was capable of doing something about it. And it wasn't like overnight I became this, total flaming extrovert and, telling my whole life story to everybody. It wasn't, it was a gradual process, but it got me on the road. And it showed me the power of dreams so much that I decided to finish the course and become a certified dream life coach because I felt that if a dream could have this power, make such a difference in my life, it's got to make a difference in other people's lives as well. And over the years, it has made a tremendous difference in people I've touched, either through my coaching or through my podcast, or my writings, or anything like that. So that's how I got there.
Wow, what I mean, that must have been so amazing to have a realization like that at age 50, um, and to have all of a sudden, I guess it sounds like you had realized a lot of freedom in your own life, and you've helped other people do that through their dreams.
Right. Well, the thing about dreams is that they are our window into our subconscious. And our subconscious is the place where our true beliefs are held. If you think about it, during the day, just like we're speaking now, we think something like 90,000 thoughts a day going through our head without our even noticing them. Like, we're speaking right now, and you might be saying, "Oh, I like her shirt," or "What's that picture behind her?" Or "What's going on? Is this podcast working?" You have so many different questions going on. You're not even realizing you're thinking them, but they're going on. They're in the back of your mind. Everybody does this. Everybody does this. The unfortunate thing is that maybe about 75% of these thoughts in general are negative. We don't realize it. But that's going through our minds all the time in our conscious life. When we dream, that part of our brain that has those thoughts shuts down for the night. So, what happens in our dreams is the thoughts, the images, the symbols we have on our dreams reflect what we truly believe. The unfortunate thing, though, is that we don't dream in English. We dream in symbols, so we have to understand, figure out what they mean, and that's where somebody like me comes in. I can help people understand what those symbols are, so that once they realize that, they can get those insights and then take action on them and have a better, more productive life or answer any questions they have or whatever it is their dreams are trying to tell them.
Okay, awesome. That's great. So you have, is it a structured program that you've come up with, or how does it work?
Well, I really love to do one-on-one coaching, and the reason is because, you know, dreams are not the only component in what I do, but they're the starting off point. I tend to look at dreams as being very practical, so I will use a person's dreams as a sort of diagnostic tool. Let's see what you're really thinking about. What's really going on? And very often those dreams will uncover some self-limiting belief that is holding the person back from what it is, they would like to do. As I like to say, living their dream life. This so it's I think I am more productive in doing it on a one-on-one basis because everybody's dreams are different. It's not like you can say, you know, you have a dream and I have a dream. They're identical dreams. The same things happen, but they can mean something totally, totally different depending on our own experiences. So when I meet with somebody and talk about their dreams, we get a handle on what's going on in their life. What are the issues that they are having? And through this and through that getting that understanding and getting behind, you know, those beliefs, I have other techniques to help them unlock those self-limiting beliefs, identify them, get them out in the open. Very often just being aware of them helps people, handle them. But otherwise, there are other ways of uh, getting them to get those self-limiting beliefs out of their lives and get them to move on to be the people they want to be.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, great. So I'm kind of curious about how you interpret some of these, or help people interpret some of these symbols in dreams. Are there um, commonalities that if you see this, it's always that, or do you have a chart for it?
Yes and no. What I mean by that is, very often, if you dream about uh, a house, for instance, it doesn't really, it may represent your house, but very often it could be representing your uh, state of mind. If you dream about being in the attic, it's your higher self, your spiritual self. It's if it's your living room, it's your conscious everyday self. If it's your basement, it's your hidden thoughts. Those are kind of general, but again, dreams are individual, and what's general for somebody might not be general for somebody else. There are other symbols that, like a car is a very common symbol. And generally, like if you're driving the car, you're in control. If you're in the back seat, you're out of control and letting other people, run your lives. Those are general, but always, they're not always because not everybody has dreams about houses or cars or whatever. Uh, there are a lot of symbols because people have been dreaming ever since we've been, sentient human beings. Uh, Through the years, there are a lot of symbols that have generally been defined as common because so many people have had them, and they will mean the same things to a lot of people. But I found out very early that that's not always the case. And one of my very, very, very first clients, she had a dream that actually was a quite pleasant dream about chickens. And, I was kind of new, so I was relying on, Dream Dictionary, looking up things and saying, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? And in the common sense, if you dream about chickens, it's fears, it's, feeling small, it's a kind of a sort of negative connotation. But she had this, it was a very pleasant dream. It's like it wasn't connecting with me. Finally I had to ask her, well, what does a chicken mean to you? And she says, oh, I love chickens. I live on a little farm. I have chickens as pets. I give them names. I love them. And that totally changed, turned around the meaning of the dream once we had that information. So something that like, for instance, spiders. A lot of people hate having dreams about spiders because they think spiders are icky or scary, but spiders can actually, you know, be about, unlocking mysteries or having wisdom, hidden wisdom that you're collecting. Uh, so it depends on the person. So I always ask when I'm talking to somebody, we have symbols that may be common. It's always like, "Oh, what does this mean to you?" That's always the case because again, what's common to a lot of people may not fit that particular situation. But again, speaking to your question, that there are some broad images that are kind of universal. Like dreams about water tend to be about, femininity. If you're diving deep in the water, you're going for a greater understanding, of your feminine side. And feminine doesn't just mean pertaining to women, it means, things that are associated with femininity, like, empathy, compassion, learning, uh, things like that. So that, men have their feminine side as well as just as women have their masculine side, and, we're all a combination of both. So it's understanding those things that really help get to the bottom of answering those questions of, who am I? What do I really want? Uh, what am I getting what I want out of life? And if not, how do I get there?
Right, right, awesome. And what about people who don't remember their dreams, or what about lucid dreaming? Do you work with people on lucid dreaming?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you they're two separate questions, so I'll answer both separately. Uh, usually when people come to me, it's because they do have dreams, and mostly it's like, "I've had this," and usually they're nightmares. "I've had this horrible dream, and, like, help me figure it out." So, most of the time when, I'm working with people, it's for people who do remember their dreams. However, um, if you don't remember your dreams, I have lots of advice on how to do that too, because I'm so passionate about how important dreams are to really getting that greater self-awareness and self-understanding, that I can help teach people how to remember their dreams. It's a process like anything else. It's not like I can say, Carl, tonight you're going to remember your dreams, and poof, if you're not usually remember your dreams, you may or may not remember your dream. Because it's a process. But if you want, I can go over some steps to help people remember their dreams if you'd like me to do that now.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that might be good. Maybe a quick spot here that might be helpful.
Sure. And this is the very very quick method. If you want to know more, you can go to my website, thedreamcoach.net. I have a little infographic on how to remember your dreams that goes into it a little bit further. But basically, my steps are: first of all, believe that dreams are important. Because what you're doing is you're training your brain to remember your dreams. So if your brains go have been going along all this time not thinking that dreams are important, it's that much harder to remember them. So really, spend some time, do a little bit of meditation, get into that spot where you can say, "Yes, I believe dreams are important." Then it's important before you get uh, ready for bed, make sure your dreaming place, whether it's your bed or any place else, it's a spot that you consider a sacred spot. Have, you know, your room as clean as possible, have, the sheets as nice as possible. And then before you go to bed, make sure you have either a notebook or a recording device so you can remember your dreams when you have them. When you go to sleep, repeat to yourself, almost like a mantra, "Tonight I'm going to remember my dreams." And repeat that often. Go to bed. Like I said, you may have a dream that first night, you may not. But again, you're training your brain. So if you do this on a repeated basis, you will have a dream. Then, once you do have a dream, before you do anything else, when you're in that kind of woozy state between sleep and dream, stay still, because any movement can literally knock that dream out of your brain. So stay still, remember as much as you can, repeat it to yourself, over and over and over. Then turn around, record the dream, write down the dream, as much of it as you can. And even if you don't remember all of it, chances are when you actually wake up that morning and read what you wrote, some more of it will start to come back. And you do this on a regular basis, you will have more remembered dreams. And then, as more you write them down and you look at what you're writing down, even if you don't sit there and try to figure it out the first day, you'll start to see patterns. And that can also help you figure out what your dreams are telling you as well.
That's awesome. That's really neat to think that that time that you're sleeping is not just wasted time, that you could actually be working on personal development if you wanted to and improving your life at night.
Yeah, I mean, Carl, just think about it. We spend a third of our life asleep. And, if you believe that there's a higher power who has created us and has put us here for something good, why would that being make us have a third of our life just be nothing? You know, there is something there's so much wisdom to be gained from it. Both, and both good and positive, because a lot of times, we're talking about dreams in terms of helping you solve a problem or getting you to understand something that's not working in your life. But dreams can also help you appreciate your life. You can have beautiful dreams that'll just have you, have you, getting up that next day just feeling wonderful, loving life and loving yourself. And, so you get both the positive, benefits of appreciating a wonderful dream and the positive benefits of understanding a dream that will help you grow to be a more positive self. So, so it works all those different ways. You asked about lucid dreaming. Well, I will say I will admit I am not an expert on lucid dreaming, and I will say if you're anybody who's interested in lucid dreaming, I very much suggest look up Robert Wagner. That's Waggoneer. He is today's modern expert on lucid dreaming. He's written books about it, and he, he has a wonderful book on that gives you steps on how to remember lucid, or how to lucid dream, or how to create a lucid dream. But they're wonderful, and I don't spend a lot of time trying to have lucid dreams because I see it takes effort. If you don't do it naturally, I think it takes a bit of effort. But there are people who do it who are just absolutely in love with it because they can have such inner freedom in being able to, see their dreams while they're dreaming. There's some controversy about whether you're actually guiding your dreams while you're having a lucid dream or not, but you do have some sense of it, and can have some wonderful magical adventures, and go places you can't go in regular dreams, uh, and as far as your imagination will take you. So it is a wonderful experience to have.
Yeah, yeah, sure. What are some are there therapeutic techniques too that you maybe help clients with once they are able to better remember their dreams, that maybe you work on things with them? What would be some therapies maybe?
Well, again, this will depend on the person and what they're looking to get out of their dreams. You know, a lot of people I've worked with, are looking to dreams as a method of improving their creativity. I use dreams a lot to, uh, you know, as a creative aspect. Uh, I've had people who, wanted to write and have felt blocked, and by working with their dreams, were able to get them over those blocks and get them on, being the writers they want to be. Um, pe- Dreams can also be used as a way to get an understanding about our physical body as well. I've known a lot of people who have had dreams that have indicated to them uh, that they've had some illnesses. And of course, I recommend, don't be your own doctor. If you have a dream like this, see a doctor. See, but very often the doctor will confirm, yes, there's something going on in your body that has to be addressed. So lots, so dreams can uncover issues like that. Um, I also work a lot in helping people uncover their self confidence. And I use the word uncover because I feel we're all born confident, and all those self limiting beliefs that we put upon ourselves, in our conscious life, while we're growing up, has sort of buried that been within us, and by working with our dreams, we can uncover that and see, why am I not feeling confident? And I have uh, a lot of techniques in dealing with that. One of the things that I advocate, it was something that was taught to me by my mentor, is something conscious that you do in your waking life, which is a dream date. And a dream date is a something that you do for yourself, by yourself, that you wouldn't ordinarily do. And it could be something that takes as little as 10, 15 minutes, or it could be something you can devote a whole day to. But the point being is that you actively do this process. And this is something that I did. It was actually part of our homework when we were studying to be, dream life coaches. And it made such a difference in me. And that really helped me in terms of having greater self love and greater self confidence, that I wrote a book about it called 101 Dream Dates: How to Say I Love You to the Most Important Person in Your Life, You, where I make a list of 101 different ways you could have dream dates. And I don't suggest, I suggest anybody, can take a look at that and see, uh, try it and see what you will find. They could be very, uh, things that maybe you haven't done in a long time, like play a game, because it brings back that childhood aspect. It reminds you of all the good things from your childhood, and gets you back into that spirit and can make you feel good. Uh, uh, Dancing by yourself. Like a lot of people do a lot of dancing, but they don't do it by themselves. But do it by yourself. Nobody's watching, nobody can see, and it helps make make you realize, how free you can be. When you let go of those things, you realize that the things that are holding you back are things in your own thoughts. And when you get rid of those thoughts, then the world is whatever you want it to be. And different different things that you could do. And there are things that are in my book that maybe a lot of people do, like yoga or meditation or things like that, where if you do it all the time, it's not a dream date. But if it's something you've never done before, then it's a dream date because it's taking that leap, doing something that's new to you. It's getting out of your comfort zone. And the more you get out of your comfort zone, and this holds true for anybody, the more you get out of your comfort zone, the more you realize how your thoughts are very often holding you back. And when you consciously understand that, that's when the miracles in your life start to happen.
Right. That's awesome. And I think maybe the dream date, it sounds like that kind of keeps the undertone of loving yourself and gratitude for everything, maybe.
Well, yeah, I think you really can't. I I'll put it to you this way. I don't think you can do anything in your life truly in a productive, constructive manner that is going to be meaningful unless you have self love. And self love, it doesn't mean being selfish. It means having true unconditional love in your heart for yourself first. Because if you don't have it for yourself first, you're not going to have it for anybody else. And if you don't have it for anybody else, you're not going to truly be able to love them. And if you can't love them, then you're not going to be able to love life. So that's like the foundation of everything. And the great thing about the dream date is because nobody else is watching, it's only you, you can do it. And, if one doesn't quite make it for you, well, try another one. And the more you do it on a regular basis, the more you're going to see, I am a loving person. I am a lovable person. I deserve love. I love myself. And when you get to that point, I can't stress it enough. When you get to that point, that's when the miracles happen.
That's awesome. That's great. So you must help a lot of clients get to that point. It sounds like, huh?
Well, yeah, one of the things that's kind of required for people who I work with is that they do dream dates, and then we'll talk about them afterwards. Like, let's see, what did you get out of it? What did you learn about yourself? Was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? So a lot of times, people will learn good things about themselves that they didn't want to admit, or that they couldn't admit, and or maybe they can't admit. And if they learn something and they can't admit it, it's like then we have to figure out, well, why can't you admit it? What is that other belief that's holding you from truly loving yourself? And it usually is something like, I don't feel worthy, or I don't deserve it, or you know, uh, I take other people's opinions more important than mine, and then we work through that and work to getting to the bottom of getting all that behind. Because again, once you understand that you have this belief, that's such an incredibly important part of being able to get rid of it. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that people's limits are all in their mind too. That so much is we're so capable of so much more than we allow to ourselves to admit. Even
Right, and like I said, most people may not even be aware that they have these limits because they are subconscious, and that's why the dreams are important, because the dreams bring them out. The dreams make them see that unhidden, that shadow side of them that they're not able to see any other way, and bringing it out into the open, bringing it out into the light is what we're all about.
that's awesome. I love that. So, if how long is the usual engagement if with a typical client? If someone wants to find you, they would go to your website and
They go to my website, thedreamcoach.net. I have several programs. My most popular one is 90-day program, uh, which is a comprehensive program where we meet once a week. Uh, you know, the client will become an expert on dream recall. We work on that a lot, and then again, spending all that time to uncover those self-limiting beliefs, get them on a plan to truly bring them to the next level of wherever they want to go. It's creating new habits. It's creating, uh, new pathways so that they don't feel unstuck. They feel more confident. They feel more self-assured. They're more aware. They have more clarity, and are ready to push forward to get to whatever it is they want to get out of life.
that's awesome. I mean, it sounds like anybody in pretty much any occupation could benefit from that.
Absolutely, and if you're not sure about it, I do offer a, complimentary discovery session where I can go into more depth about, what I could do, what you're looking for, and all of that, and even maybe, help you understand a dream while we're on it.
Oh, great, great. That's fantastic. That's a great resource. Um, so was there anything? What else did I not ask about today? That maybe have you had any amazing stories, or what do you have coming up this year that you're excited about?
Well, uh, in addition to the coaching, like you said, I have a podcast called Dream Power Radio, which is also on my YouTube channel, which is called the Dream Power Experience. Or I interview people in all areas of empowerment, and we talk about dreams also. So that there, we didn't really get into the different ways that people work with dreams. I talked a little bit about creativity and how I use it, and how so many people, so many great works of art and songs and books and movies, have come from people's dreams and dreams for health. I talked about how people, have discovered illnesses through understanding what the dreams are trying to tell them. In a spiritual sense, a lot of people use their dreams to connect with departed loved ones and get wisdom from people who are no longer here. And uh, and then again with with lucid dreaming, when people have dreams where they're flying or uh, having sex or doing whatever it is they want. Dreams. But like I said, they're not only information providing, for me, but they're also a lot of fun. You can have a lot of fun with them, and what better way to spend your sleeping time, having fun and learning to love yourself more. So yeah, I'd say check out. Check out Dream Power Radio for that information. And again, my website is thedreamcoach.net, and you can reach me if you want to reach me at Debbie at thedreamcoach.net. So I love hearing from people.
Great. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me today, Debbie. I really appreciate it. It's interesting to hear about all this work that you do with people. Um, we'll have to maybe have a follow up conversation very soon.
Yes, and Carl, remember, pay attention to your dreams.
I will. I'll pay more attention. Definitely. Thanks again, Debbie. Have a great day.